So here I'm going to perform the first figure, the first loop figure that we learn, which is a simple outside loop. Okay, I show my long axis. I've got a nice line underneath that I can see, which is going to help me. I start in a good athletic position. The size of the circle is the height of the skater up, just up to the shoulder. So if you decapitate yourself, then you've got your height, the size of your circle. So here I go. I'm going to try to do this loop. Trying to trace. And the third one. Style wasn't great. Style wasn't judged really in figures, but of course, if I have bad style, it tends to reflect in the tracing that's on the ice, but the tracing was the key, and you can see that I traced these loops quite well, especially the first two were almost perfectly traced. The third one, not quite as much. It's supposed to be 3 loops to a circle, the size, so that's the correct size, but this is actually a little too large. It's supposed to be about a blade length wide and 1.5 instead of 2 long, so that loop was a little bit bigger than standard. Yeah. Ryoko, do you want to try this loop figure? You want a loop lesson? Let's see how you can do tracing this loop. The tendency, the really thing you want to learn from these figures is not to over-rotate them. Oh, you're just going to practice the circle itself first. Controlling your speed is an important part of this. You don't really need hardly any speed at all, just enough to do the loop and get back to the center. The more speed you have makes it kind of a little bit more difficult actually. So in figures, that's the idea. There you go, that's a loop. You can see she's kind of over rotating. Holding back on the rotation. You can see a lot of rotation so the loop is over rotated. The shoulders are supposed to be the same. They're supposed to be straight across. The shoulders, the loop, we call these the shoulders, the in and the out. They're supposed to be, of course, symmetrical. And the tendency is to take a shortcut coming out. It's difficult not to take that shortcut. If you over rotate, you tend to take that shortcut. So holding back on the rotation and then coming all the way up to the top there. Holding back on the rotation and coming out as high as what I went in. Try again. Not very much speed, you don't need very much speed. Oh, not bad. Yeah, and then you got to control that on the circle back to the center. I'm sorry I made it look so easy. I haven't been practicing these figures every day, certainly. I don't do these hardly at all, ever. So I'm kind of rusty on doing figures, but yeah, just to show you out there what loops are like and in this sport, figure skating. So if you want a little challenge for yourself and you want to fill in some time, and especially if you have some nice clean ice, practice your loops. We just did the outside loop today. You can do an inside loop, and then you can do back outside and back inside as well. And you can also do a change loop and a loop change loop. Go for it. What do I mean by over rotation? Well, yeah, if you go too flat, like so, you can control your rotation by having the right lean. So if you're not leaning enough, that's a reason why you start over rotating.
You mean that not lean is a deep edge?
Yeah, not a deep enough edge. This is how we control rotation, is through the depth of our edges. So by having a deep enough edge, that's one way I can control the rotation. Deep enough edge, and then coming around.
That's why figure is important. Figure out.
Yes, this is one thing we learn. Even if you don't think about the depth of your edge, in order to be able to do this figure, you have to have the proper depth of your edge. So whether you think about it consciously or just figure it out through repetition and getting it right, this really taught us how to control rotation doing these loops. Ryoko already getting better. Yeah, good for you.
I feel the blade is too deep.
Yes. I also, these are free skating sharpening, which I don't have a deep free skating sharpening, about an inch radius on mine, but yeah, when we used to do figures, we would sharpen them 2 1/4, 2 1/2 inch radius, much shallower. So the blades didn't grab as much. They were much easier to control, and we were able to keep our speed and our flow better without such a deep, sharp hollow on the blade. Yeah.
So this is the bottom of top.
Toe pick shouldn't be it shouldn't contact on loops. It shouldn't matter on loops. I mean, if you're going to you're skating forward, so that, yeah, on back, we got rid of our toe pick, so on back loops, you're not going to scratch for certain on back loops without those toe picks. Yep. Okay. Bye from Loopy Land.